over the weekend, as we went into the early part of the weekend, the big news was, and we've got to get to it, Joe Biden, speaking of a State of the Union, was asked about the fact that in that State of the Union, when Marjorie Taylor Greene said, say her name about Laken Riley, the 22-year-old student who was murdered while jogging on the campus of the University of Georgia by an illegal. She said, she was killed by an illegal. And Joe Biden used that term, an illegal. She was killed by an illegal. Well, he finally, I guess, realized he had to do a mea culpa about that. Listen to this. Jonathan Capehart, again, of MSNBC. Those people have lost their minds. Who would watch this program to actually subject your brain to this just insanity? But people do it. Jonathan Capehart is part of that same team. And watch this exchange, Hot 24.
Mr. President, it's great to see you again. Thank you for doing this. So that was one hell of a speech you gave Thursday night. I'm going to touch on three specific areas there. The first one being, I noticed the look of surprise on your face when you walked into the chamber and you saw Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was priceless. You feigned shock at seeing her. But during your response to her heckling of you, you used the word illegal when talking about the man who allegedly killed Laken Riley.
An undocumented person. And I shouldn't have used illegal. It's undocumented. And look, when I spoke about the difference between Trump and me, one of the things I talked about on the border was that the way he talks about vermin, the way he talks about these people polluting the blood. I talked about what I'm not going to do, what I won't do. I'm not going to treat any of these people with disrespect. Look, they built the country. The reason our economy is growing. We have to control the border and a more orderly flow, but I don't share his view at all.
So you regret using that word?
Yes.
Mike, they built this country? They did? Gang members like Jose Ibarra, who murdered Laken Riley apparently for fun? This is the levels of disrespect and disinformation in that answer, Andrew. What do you make of it?
Well, this is kind of the one thing in this administration that I do think is hitting people in the face when Mayorkas, the head of Homeland Security, gets up and in that po-faced way he says, well, the border is secure, and if it's not secure, it's the Republicans' fault, and we're doing everything we can. He talks in that kind of blank double talk of bureaucratese. And we see them, they can't hide them. They're coming across the border. All the cities that declare themselves sanctuary cities are now getting flooded with them and sort of saying, I'm not sure this sanctuary was such a great idea. And the Democrats are just pouring money into New York, but there's not enough money to actually take care of this incredible invasion that Biden has allowed to happen. Whereas in the last month of the Trump administration, I think something like 17 illegals were released into the country, and now it's thousands upon thousands upon thousands.
And now he's worried about hurting their feelings.
And he's worried about hurting the feelings of a murderer. I mean, it's not just hurting the feelings of illegals, some of whom may be decent people running away from bad things. He's hurting the feeling of a murderer and apologizing to him on air. Can't even get the woman's name right, the victim's name right when he's trying to.
Which her mother spoke out about this weekend, saying she was offended. She's like, she can't. She said, I have it here, but her mom said, Biden doesn't even know my child's name. If you're going to say her name, when forced to do so, at least say it the right way. Say the right name. And she appeared with Trump while Biden was over there apologizing to her murderer for referring to him as an illegal. If Team Trump doesn't make that a split screen ad within the next 24 hours, they don't know what they're doing.
Ben Shapiro has said this, that Trump is basically running a very moderate campaign. He's being helped by the fact that the news media won't cover him. They won't put him on the air. So we're not seeing him. He's being kept off social media. So we're not hearing his kooky rants. But every time I see him, I was going to say this about the State of the Union. They concentrated on Brit because they could take her out. But Trump gave a response that was really good. And at this point, everything that Donald Trump has said about immigration, even though he puts things in this blunt, sometimes insensitive way, everything he said has turned out to be true. They're not sending their best. They are sending criminals. It is allowing people to get into the country who should not be in the country. And the sensitivity to criminals that we get from the Soros prosecutors and from Joe Biden, the sensitivity to people who commit crimes, you can't even say it's illegal to do something illegal. it masks this complete insensitivity to the victims of those crimes, which pretty soon is going to be a lot of us, because some of the people coming in are clearly hooked to terrorist organizations. So eventually the victims are going to be all of us. And I don't even understand how long, I don't know how long people are going to tolerate this sensitivity toward the hurt feelings of criminals that masks a complete insensitivity, a coldness to the pain and suffering that is being caused to innocent people by murders, by crime, by rampant crime, by shutting down businesses with stealing. Eventually you start to say, like, don't normal people deserve some kind of sensitivity? Don't normal people who pay the taxes, who keep the world running, don't they deserve some kindness too?
That's exactly right. I didn't see his apology for calling Laken Riley Lincoln. I didn't see that. But he wants to apologize and take back calling this alleged gang member, per the New York Post, guy had been here illegally arrested for endangering the welfare of a child. That guy who wound up taking the life of a 22-year-old young woman who just wanted to help people as a nurse, he gets an apology. It's bass backwards, as they say. Do you owe back taxes? Pandemic relief is now over. Along with hiring thousands of new agents and field officers, oh joy, the IRS has kicked off 2024 by sending over 5 million pay-up letters to those who have unfiled tax returns or balances owed. Don't waive your rights and speak with them on your own. Tax Network USA, a trusted tax relief firm, has saved over $1 billion in back taxes for their clients, and they can help you secure the best deal possible. Whether you owe $10,000 or $10 million, they can help you. Whether it's business or personal taxes, even if you have the means to pay or you're on a fixed income, they can help finally resolve your tax burdens once and for all. Call 1-800-245-6000 for a private, free consultation, or just visit tnusa.com/Megyn. tnusa.com/Megyn. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.